This is video number 16 titled The Long Haul. Let's face it, we live in a world that glorifies speed. From instant messaging to overnight success stories, everywhere we turn we're being sold the idea that faster is better. Success, we're told, is something that should come quickly. If you don't make it big within a few months or a couple of years, you must be doing something wrong. It's easy to get swept up in this mindset, isn't it? You might even find yourself asking, why am I not there yet? Why hasn't it happened for me? Here's the reality. Most success doesn't happen fast. Despite what social media might tell you, those overnight success stories are either exaggerated or missing a huge chunk of the narrative. Behind every seemingly quick rise to the top is often years, if not decades, of hard work, struggle, and persistence. Imagine planting a seed and expecting it to grow into a mighty tree overnight. It sounds absurd, right? Yet this is how many of us approach our dreams and goals. We want results, and we want them now. But here's the truth. The greatest successes in life are not a sprint. They're a marathon. The true test isn't how quickly you can get there. It's whether you can keep going when the journey gets long and tough. Today, I want to talk to you about the long haul, the mindset you need to cultivate if you want to achieve a real lasting success. Because achieving your goals is not a race for the swift, but for those who have the endurance to stay in the game until the end. Let me introduce to you a man named Paul. Paul wasn't born into wealth or privilege. He grew up in a modest home in a neighborhood where opportunities were few and far between. But Paul had big dreams. He wanted to build something of his own, to create a company that would make a real impact in his community. When Paul graduated from college, he dove straight into entrepreneurship. He had a solid idea, a good plan, and endless energy. But as anyone who has ever started a business knows, things don't always go according to plan. In the first year, Paul's business struggled. The market was saturated and competition was fierce. He worked long hours, often 7 days a week, and progress was slow, really slow. Friends started telling him, maybe it's time to consider something else, an easier path, more realistic goals. You've been in this for a while, and it doesn't seem like it's working. After 2 years of grinding and barely breaking even, Paul started to doubt himself. Maybe he wasn't cut out for this. Maybe his dream was unrealistic. But Paul wasn't ready to give up. He knew deep down that the vision he had wasn't going to come to life overnight. He understood that success wasn't supposed to be easy or quick. He decided that if he truly believed in what he was doing, he needed to commit for the long haul. So, instead of quitting, he adjusted his expectations. He reminded himself that he wasn't racing against anyone, and that real success might take years, maybe even a decade or more. He was in it for the long haul. In the fourth year, things started to turn around. Paul had learned valuable lessons from his early failures, lessons about resilience, persistence, and adaptation. His business was an overnight success, but slowly he started to see steady growth. Customers began to notice his dedication and the quality of what he offered. 5 years in, the company hit its first major milestone. 10 years later, Paul's business had become a staple in the community and beyond, providing jobs and opportunities for hundreds of people. His negative friends were nowhere to be found. You couldn't hear a peep out of them. If you look at Paul's story from the outside, it might seem like a slow burn. 10 years is a long time to wait for major success, especially in a world where we're used to hearing about 20-year-old tech geniuses striking gold within a few years' time. But the truth is, Paul's story is far more common and far more sustainable. His success wasn't flashy or fast, but it was real. And because he stayed committed for the long haul, that success lasted. What's the lesson here? Success that comes quickly often fades just as fast. True success, the kind that lasts, is built over time, through countless challenges, failures, and adjustments and struggles. Paul's story shows that the people who achieve their goals aren't necessarily the ones who get there the fastest, but the ones who have the endurance to keep going to the end. Think about any great figure in history, whether it's athletes, artists, or leaders. What they all have in common isn't a quick rise to fame, but the ability to stick with their vision for years, sometimes decades. They understand that greatness isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you build brick by brick, day by day, through the ups and downs. So what's the takeaway from Paul's story, and why should you care about the long haul? First, let go of the idea that success is fast. If you're expecting to reach your goals quickly, you're setting yourself up for frustration and burnout. The pressure to make it big overnight can lead to bad decisions, shortcuts, and ultimately disappointment. Accepting that your journey might take longer than you'd hoped gives you the mental freedom to stay committed even when things don't go as planned. Next, understand that endurance is a skill. Just like running a marathon, staying committed to your goals requires training. It requires you to build the mental and emotional stamina to keep going, even when you're tired, frustrated, or tempted to give up. That stamina comes from showing up every day, doing the work, and understanding that the process is part of the journey. You don't wake up one day and suddenly have all the answers. Next, understand that endurance is a skill, just like running a marathon. Staying committed to your goals requires training. It requires you to build the mental and emotional stamina to keep going, even when you're tired, frustrated, or tempted to give up. That stamina comes from showing up every day, doing the work, and understanding that the process is part of the journey. You don't wake up one day and suddenly have all the answers. You learn, little by little, through your experiences along the way. Think of it like building a house. You don't expect to finish the house in one day. You lay one brick at a time. Some days you lay down a lot of bricks. Other days, maybe just one. But you keep laying those bricks day after day, and eventually those individual bricks add up to something real, something lasting, something great, a house. There is a saying that goes, we overestimate what we can achieve in a year, but underestimate what we can achieve in 10. That's the long haul mindset. It's about seeing the bigger picture and realizing that the journey is just as important as the destination. Every small step you take matters, even when it feels like progress is slow or non-existent. The people who reach their goals aren't the ones who avoid obstacles. They're the ones who learn to embrace them. Obstacles aren't there to stop you. They're there to test your commitment. If every time you hit a roadblock you give up, you'll never see what's on the other side. But if you dig in, if you face those challenges head on, you'll come out stronger, smarter, and more prepared for the next one. That's how you grow. That's how you get better. There will be days when you feel like you're falling behind, when everything seems to be going wrong, like you're losing ground. But the important thing is that you stay in the game. Some days you'll take 2 steps forward. Other days you'll take 1 step back. It's the cumulative effort that counts. Over time, those small, consistent actions add up. The marathon runners, the entrepreneurs, the artists, they all have one thing in common. They didn't stop when it got hard. They didn't give up when they didn't see results right away. They trusted that if they kept showing up and kept doing the work, the results will come. The long haul is where real success happens. It's where you build the skills, resilience, and wisdom that you need to attain your goals. It's not easy, and it's not glamorous, but it's worth it. As you look forward towards your goals, remind yourself that this isn't a race for the swift, but for those who endure to the end. Your journey might take longer than you expected, and that's okay. What matters is that you stay committed and keep going 1 step at a time, no matter how long it takes. Success isn't measured by how fast you get there. It's measured by your ability to stay the course. So stay in it for the long haul. Like this video and leave a comment right now.